stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. So fuck. Thank fuck. Yep, I'm here. Yeah. Amber says my ear holes were getting bored. Just got done reading with Travis. Yeah. Glad you get to do that stuff. I tell you now, I'm not in a very good mood. I'm not. So yeah. Not totally sure why either. I think one thing is I'm feeling a little guilty. Feeling a little guilty. Although I should be celebrating it. Today is my wife and I's 13th wedding anniversary. And I forgot. Well, clearly I didn't forget it's the day. I didn't do nothing about it. And I don't want to be cast into that. I don't want to be cast into that typical male bullshit, misogynistic, forget what's important to us kind of shit. So I feel kind of bad about that. Company I've been trying to work with, I thought they were doing well. But, then they go and support a body brokering, what I would call body brokering event. Oh, man. I just don't feel like I can believe people anymore. Oh, yeah, she still loves me, but that doesn't make it right. By airtight. Now, what I'm going to do is ask her if we can do something next weekend, so that I can set something up that's a little bit better, a little bit more special for her. We have our grandkids today. I clearly was not thinking. The ironic thing about it is we got married on March 16th on purpose. Good morning, Heather. It's good to see you. Because that was my original sobriety date when I got sober when I was 18, March 16th. Right. Can't do anything today. We got the grandkids today. And the wind's blowing like a son of a bitch out there, and it's going to all day. So, but that's a good idea. Maybe a picnic or something like that. I will do something. I will do something. Make sure I go out of my way so it's just for her. My wife deserves a lot. She's put up with a lot of bullshit in this life. Not just my drinking, not just Dion, but a lot of other stuff. And she deserves to be treated like a fucking queen. That's why I'm upset about that. So Sundays always seem to be hard for me. Maybe it's hard for me because I say it's hard for me. But I'm kind of extra grumpy today. And what I don't want to come on here is come on here and whine, but I may do that. I may do a little bit of whining. Hey, Brandon, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. And I picked this topic because, I've worked really hard to find a new set of morals that make sure that I'm doing God's will. Make sure that I don't get into anything that is outside of my lane. So you got a tiara for your last birthday. I'm pretty inventive on being able to do things for my wife. I know her pretty well. For Christmas, I got her because Christmas, her birthday's in January. I said fly a kite, and YouTube screened it. God, what's going on with that? Just be careful what you say. It might just piss me off more. You might bring out Grumpy Cat. I don't like being in this mood. Isn't it kind of weird when you're in this kind of mood how you try and get out of the mood and it doesn't quite work? That just pisses you off more. All right, let's do some introductions here. Welcome, Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. It's awfully red over here today. I was trying to match my shirt and it worked. See, I'm good at matching stuff. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. But for Christmas, what I did is I got her a table, and it's a puzzle table, but there's a lid that goes on it so the cats can't get to it, right? And we put that together. And for her birthday, I bought her a couple of puzzles. One of John Lennon that frustrated the fuck out of her, but I wanted to get her something challenging. Even my cup's red. Maybe I shouldn't have gone with red. Red equals anger. Maybe, yeah. I'm not angry. I'm just grumpy, confused, probably a little depressed. But there's a lot of things that I will not do. Bandwagons I will not jump on because it just isn't the right thing to do. You know, I believe in meeting people where they're at, and I believe in providing their needs without expectation. Not everybody feels that way, you know. And I kind of work in the recovery industry, and I got to tell you, if you're not doing it the way that they are doing it, man, you get ostracized. I don't think I've ever been treated so poorly in any industry. And isn't that kind of an oxymoron considering the industry is caring for other people? Right? So I find it weird. I find it weird that my oldest brother has a master's in psychology, but remains angry at me for my mental illnesses. You know, I don't understand a lot of things. I don't understand a lot of the hate, the anger. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Bren. Bren says I'm trying to get off the ass kicking machine myself. I don't know. I guess it's kind of a ebb and flow. And there's a part of me right now that's getting upset because I just don't feel like a lot of people, I don't know if it's respect or priority that's bothering me. Well, I'm just really busy. You know, when you say something like that, what you're telling the person is they're not a priority. And I would rather hear you're not a priority. You know, you're not high on the priority list here, my brother. I would rather hear that because at least I'm getting an honest answer. But you know, I've been trying to make some contacts, and we're back to the, hey, yeah, we're gonna do that, and then to hear nothing, and then I feel like I have to put it, and I'm tired of that. I'm not willing to do that anymore, right? So somebody had offered me to do a tour of a place that's helping out homeless. They're like, yeah, but we'll get that set up for you next week. Well, it's Sunday, and I haven't heard a word. So I'm gonna give them till Tuesday, and then I just figure from there, it ain't gonna happen. It isn't gonna happen. You know, there's more fear there. And what they fear is my morals. You know, um, when it comes to recovery, if you give me a choice of lesser of two evils, I ain't gonna go for it. because that creates division. It creates things. I'm getting frustrated because every time I feel like I'm making headway, um, something small will happen. Like the person I was supposed to chair didn't chair, didn't think of it. Of course, yesterday I was supposed to chair. Well, I did chair, and I'd forgotten. So and it isn't really that person as much as it is, that these little things can start to build, right? Um, and I'll just let you know, I have really no idea what I'm talking about today. I'm just, it's one of those days. It's a back to basics kind of a day. And what that means is that Dion will probably be on steps 1, 2, and 3 for today. I will do my best to make sure that I don't have to make any amends. Because when I'm like this, I get pretty snappy, which means I'll be reactive, which means it'll have anger behind it. And yeah, considering it's our anniversary, I don't want to do that to my wife. So I figure I'd come on here, maybe admit it, try and get rid of it. So, um, um, no, I was kind of using it as an example, Amber, that they had forgotten, but so had I. But I did come up with a solution for it. What I'm going to do is when I say, because in the group we do a reminder. And if they're not in the group, what I'm going to do is remind them. So even when I'm like this, I don't, I still want to make progress. I still want to find that solution, right? Um, Heather says, because I like to, and thank you for the comments. This stuff helps me, just so you know. Heather says, speaking to me, it sucks to not be a priority, but please put me out of my misery of overthinking your intentions. Just own it. That's fair, Heather. Thank you. That's fair. Um, yeah, I'd rather you just say, hey, yeah, we're not really going to do that. Amber says, because she's trying to give me a hard time, make me happy. Oh, you didn't want to hear any more about steps 1 through 3, and then God gives you 1 through 3 day. Yeah. It's, and that is ironic. Correct. I just get wore out on the same topic. There's more than 1, 2, and 3, right? At the same time, we got a lot of newcomers coming in, so we should be sticking to 1, 2, and 3. Um, but when I say, in other words, because you'll hear me say often that I work on steps 1, 2, and 3 every day, and because that's my foundation, and some days it's all I'm gonna have, right? Now, the good thing about that, it isn't necessarily a bad thing. What it means is that I can keep it a little more simple today, that I need to keep it simple, right? Because I have a lot of neat things going on. It's just, it's kind of lonely, you know, when I do this stuff alone. And when I have all these people out in the field and they're like, oh, great stuff. But when it comes time, there's silence. It hurts me, man. It hurts me because I opened my heart up a little bit and you kind of stabbed it. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but I can't help it. It's kind of who I am. I really give a fuck what happens to people. I truly do. Maybe, and I don't want to, I don't want to not care anymore. I know that everybody's not going to do things like Dion does, and Dion's different, and that's okay, and that's okay too. We're all supposed to be a little different, right? So, And thanks, big hugs, big hugs. Um, I got my grandkids today too, and I don't want to be yelling at them, you know. Um, and part of this might be depression, but and Brent's saying she's deep in 6, 7, and 8. Those are good steps to be deep in. Absolutely. And maybe I should remember 6 and 7 today that that we're all trying to reach perfection, but we're not there. And that's kind of what because I reached out to somebody in the field that I kind of trust. And let me kind of just tell you what I said and they said, right? And I'm not going to bring up their name because he's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. I said, "Hey, brother, I'm going to need to reconsider my relationship with," and I'm not going to bring the company name up. "It only seems like I'm being appeased. I have to remind y'all to set up tours and such. Aside being at blah blah body brokering events, it's a gut punch to me." And this was his reply, and I appreciate this reply. I appreciate you letting me know. While I don't think anyone is doing things 100% perfectly in this space, blah 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 is doing it the closest. And I would not disagree with that. But I will not do a lesser of two evils that goes against my morals. Not in this field. Lesser to evil means that, so if I help them and then they go to these events and support the other people, I am supporting those people that have committed Medicaid fraud and are body brokering and abused the system and spent all of our money for 2 years. That's why, I mean, Adams County's on a hiring freeze right now. They're looking at letting people go, right? And whereas he can do that, and I don't blame him for that, he's got to support his family. He's a good guy, right? But I can't do that. And that's where I feel separated, right? That's where my fear of abandonment starts to come in. Am I not good enough? Am I not doing enough? Right? And that might be it too, Bren, that I don't know. It's not my service work. I love my service work, you know. Um, but another example is, I've been letting people know there's this meeting and we're gonna meet with Community Reach Center, and not one person's like, yeah, I'll show up. Now I do keep in mind that people have jobs, they have kids, they have shit going on, and maybe that time didn't work for them, right? So I do keep in mind, but that doesn't mean I don't feel lonely, you know? So where do I find the balance in that, right? Because these people, you know, I there's no one in person, no, there's no one person or thing in particular that I'm necessarily upset with because I'm not, and I'm certainly not upset with any of my friends or anybody here. Um, he said, long way to go, which is where your help would be invaluable. So if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. I really don't work for blah blah. I'm working to raise money for blah blah to help people get off the streets into a sober living somewhere self, not necessarily the place that we're doing. And we're gonna follow up on Tuesday. See, but I can appreciate that kind of thing. Right. Now, let's kind of get down to some causes and conditions, right? Because part of this is also Dion's brain and old behavior. Self What I'm trying to avoid here is self-pity. I don't want to get into that. And it was starting this morning. I'll give an example. I just I don't feel like people are respecting my time, and it's one thing that ticks me off pretty quickly because I think my time is valuable, you know. And there were some things that happened yesterday where this should have been done, but since they weren't done, we had to do them, and that ate up time. And then the stuff that I wanted to get done couldn't get done. And that gets me more than anything. You know, I don't like it when people don't respect my time. I don't think people understand, I'm a little bit older and I'm closer to dead than I am being born. So, but even as it comes out of my mouth, it sounds a little whiny, right? Hi, Miranda. Who's Miranda? Is there a Miranda here? If so, welcome, Miranda. It is good to have you. Are some things not popping up? Now I got to check. Now I got to check. Well, no. Okay. All right. Feels like I should read something out of the big book. I mean, there's only so much that I can say on this. And if I start really going into, here's the thing. I don't want to sit here and complain about how I see everybody breaking their own morals or a set of morals or whatever, right? Because one of my replies to him, let me tell you my replies. I said, yeah, they are separate. I have to admit, part is personal, right? You follow through with me, but I don't think blah and blah have any interest, which is their business. If you've got another option, I will listen. You I trust, but others' actions are same as others, and patterns do not lie. Patterns don't lie, man. They don't. Okay. And you're correct. No one is perfect, yet having a set of morals counts in my book. Where's our ethics in all this? Where's our ethics? Would there we go. See, I'm already kind of slipping into it, and we're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I refuse. I want to continue being a good example and doing things the right way. And if I get into what everybody else is doing wrong, then gosh, aren't I kind of doing the same thing and creating division? Because I'm tired of the division breaking, right? And you can't really fight that either, So we're going to go to God. That's going to be my answer. It's got to be my answer, right? So give me a random number between 1 and 164.
79.
All right. Let's see what God has to say about all this. All right. Now, I thought it was pretty funny because yesterday when I was running the meeting and I couldn't find anybody time, and you usually announce who's doing the time. And I'm like, God will be running the timer today. I thought that was kind of funny. All right. Now, why am I saying that why we need God, and why did I pick a random number? Because that's going to be God talking. And it's into action. See? Even that right then and there kind of gives me an answer, doesn't it? Right? Because I've got some action going on. Let's do this. Okay. So I'm going to start at the bottom of page 78. And in this part where they're talking about the different ways that we make amends. So forgiveness kind of pops into my head. See, it's already starting to work, isn't it? All right. Perhaps we have committed a criminal offense which might land us in jail if it were known to the authorities. We may be short in our accounts and unable to make good. We have already admitted this in confidence to another person, but we are sure we would be in prison or lose our job if it were known. Maybe it's only a petty offense, such as padding the expense account. Most of us have done that sort of thing. Maybe we are divorced and have remarried but haven't kept up the alimony to number one. She is indignant about it and has a warrant out for our arrest. That's a common form of trouble too. See? I'm going to tell you what's going through my mind. So currently my youngest daughter is moving in with my ex-wife, with her mother, right? I'm not all that comfortable with it. I'm not going to go into why, because I'm not going to sit here and shit talk my ex. No. Mm-mm. Not only that, but my grandkids are here. What if they overhear me? Right? Not only that, but it's just not the right thing to do. Now, we haven't had the best relationship, and I owe her a lot of child support. All right. And I'm kind of defiant about that for my own reasons. So I thought, maybe there's a chance here, and I spoke with this to my therapist about this, but I wanted to talk to my daughter first, and I haven't had a chance. So maybe this is God reminding me that I need to talk to my daughter today, and that will help me out. Because what I want to do is send her an email saying, hey, we got to work this out. We got to make it, I'm still planning on throwing a big party. The money's starting to trickle back in, so I'll be able to set that up soon. And I do want to do it, but I want to be able to invite her and her be able to come and be comfortable. That if maybe she's having a hard day with the grandkids, I'd be happy to run over and pick them up for her, and maybe try and be a little bit more useful in that relationship, mend some fences so that my daughter and my other kids and my grandkids can see that we can be adults and be a good example. So that's what this reminded me of. Now I'm being very transparent today so that you can see that we can work through these things, right? But see, I'm not doing it alone. Heather, the one thing you're not allowed to do is go ahead in the book on me. I'm just kidding. Thank you. And I'm actually getting to that part. But see, thank you, Heather. I appreciate that. And thanks for making me laugh a little bit too. All these reparations take innumerable forms. There are some general principles which we find guiding. Reminding ourselves that we have decided, and here it is what Heather was just bringing up. Reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any lengths to find a spiritual experience. All right. I'm going to stop there for a little bit. We get a lot of spiritual experiences. A lot of them. It didn't just end with one, right? Every day I got to be looking for a new spiritual experience. Yeah. We're having one right now. What's the spiritual experience here? Well, it's a change of attitude, man. It's a change of attitude in this case. We ask that we be given strength and direction to do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequence may be. See, God's talking directly to us right now. On a Sunday. I don't know why that matters. No matter what the personal consequences may be, we may lose our position or our reputation or face jail, but we are willing. We have to be. We must not shrink at anything. Ooh, at anything. Man, talk about a slap across the face. Proverbial, of course. Not in a mean way. but maybe I'm shrinking at some stuff and I shouldn't do that. Hey, look how we're getting our answers, man. That's why you hear people say the answer's in the big book. The answer's in the big book. I could have read any page and we probably would have come to the same conclusion. But I also don't think that it's by mistake that what Heather put up was exactly what we were going for. That's what God wanted. That's God's will. Yeah. So, and I have decided to go to any lengths. Okay. Usually the word willing is in there. This time it is not. Okay. And that is because willingness is implied at this point. I already have it. Right. And what that does is it allows us to become better. Right. Because the way I kind of see it is, if I am in a bad mood, then it's a chance to again, it is a chance to show my grandkids the better way of doing it, better way of handling it. Thank you, God. Usually, however, other people are involved. Therefore, we are not to be hasty and foolish martyr who would needlessly sacrifice others to save himself from the alcoholic pit. See, that's one thing I'm not willing to do anymore is use other people. I will not use the shoulders of others to get higher. Mm-mm. You know, um, one of the main things in this world that I have figured out is I'm no greater than or less than anybody else in this world. Right. So what's this doing? Well, it's helping me change my attitude because I'm partially upset. I'm partially upset because they all got together again and there were 500 people. I'm a little pissed that their event was successful. Right? I need to say it. I need to get it off my chest. Hi, Chris. It's good to see you. So I cannot sit here and throw other people under the bus to prove my point of my morals. I can't. It's old behavior. But it's so easy to fall back into, isn't it? So easy to fall back into. A man we know had remarried. Because of resentment and drinking, he had not paid his alimony to his first wife. She was furious. She went to court and got a order for his arrest. He had commenced our way of life, had secured a position, and was getting his head above water. It would have been impressive heroics if he had walked up to the judge and said, "Here I am." Good to see you too, Chris. We thought he ought to be willing to do that if necessary, but if he were in jail, he could provide nothing for either family. We suggested he write his first wife admitting his faults and asking forgiveness. He did and also sent a small amount of money. He told her what he would try to do in the future. He said he was perfectly willing to go to jail if she insisted. Of course, she did not, and the whole situation has long been adjusted. All right. Gets into more stories, so that's probably a good place to stop. So, what did we learn here? What did we maybe not even learn, but because I found that for me, when it comes to this program, being reminded is probably kind of where I'm at. Being reminded that I said that that I had decided that I was willing to go to any length to find that spiritual experience. Right? Sometimes we need to talk in order to get to that place. Fortunately for me, I've been to so much therapy, I know how to do that talk until I get to the right place. Okay. But the hard thing, or the one thing that it needs to be done with, is it needs to come out of my mouth. Because have you ever had a really good idea, it comes out of your mouth and you regretted saying it? Chris, I love you, but I can't help you. You got to start helping yourself, dude. You know that. I can't save you, brother. I love you, but I can't save you. Start getting to more AA meetings. You are capable of getting here. Get it set up. You were going to Zoom meetings for a little bit. Get back to the meetings. Okay. Go do 90 and 90, dude. A lot of us are stuck at home because of mental illnesses, because of these other things, man. And I'm sorry you're in a tough situation. Right. But I know those nurses down there, and they will help you get on these Zoom meetings. It's the only suggestion I have for you, dude. I love you, and I hope you follow through on it. All right, I got to wrap up and go to a noon meeting. Got to go to a noon meeting. All right. Chris, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up texting you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to text you where you can find the meetings on DACA. Right? Ask one of the nurses to help you. You can always find a noon meeting. Maybe we can set you up with everything AA. So I don't know what else to do, Chris. If I had a magic wand to solve everybody's problems, I would do it. You know, if I would have had the infinity gauntlet that Thanos had, I'd do it. But I don't. And I love you. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Thank you, everybody, for listening today. I appreciate it. So I love you. Peace out.